So today we are going to be talking about the reality of taxes in California, and we're going to take you guys on a ride with us because we're going to go out, get something to drink, and we'll talk about our taxes on the way over there.
Right.
So we're heading out right now, and it is currently 12:43 p.m. It's a really rainy day out here in Sacramento. It's always raining around this time. There are some winters where we don't get that much rain, but last year and this year we've been getting a lot of heavy rains, which is a good thing for people who want to go skiing or snowboarding. That's part of the reason why we moved here to begin with. We used to do a lot of it in New York. And for those of you who have snowboarded or skied in New York, you know it's known as the Ice Coast. But if you go out here to the West Coast, you'll know that there's so much snow. It's a lot fluffier than what you're going to be used to in the East Coast. So we're going to be talking about taxes because everybody's always asking about taxes in California. And I'm going to be bringing up all of our numbers of how much taxes we actually paid while living here in California in 2023 with the amount of hours that we worked. So,
Oh, we forgot to fold that umbrella.
you know what, you pull up in here, go in here. All right, there's an umbrella in the back, it's kind of distracting. We're gonna
Yeah,
stop
I can't see the
right
back.
over here at the Safeway parking lot
just
real
to
quick.
fix it.
And I'm gonna throw it away
Yeah.
because it's messed up.
No, don't throw it away.
We have to, it's an NYP umbrella, okay? Monica got it at New York Presbyterian.
It was from my endoscopy job. It has got some sentimental value.
It was a windy day the other day when we were out with our son, and
just
the umbrella
over
got
here.
completely destroyed.
Yeah,
So
it's just
we're
like-
gonna have to get rid of it. Honestly, I don't think we can fix that.
Well, yeah, just fold
Oh,
it at
Jesus.
the very least.
Look at this thing. Okay.
Does it even close?
Ugh. It's stuck. Okay, I managed to shut it. So, but it's broken. So I'm just gonna store it away over here for now. Okay, here we go. Ready.
So you fixed the sensor, right?
Yeah, our car is falling apart, guys. Every time we get in this car, there's something new and it's falling apart.
God.
So it's got sensors that can detect the cars around it. And there's this one sensor that's been going off, and the car's been telling us that something's blocking the sensor. So I thought it was because there's been a lot of dirt on our car lately. I haven't washed it because it's been raining every single day for like the last 2 or 3 weeks. Anyway, so I went to go look at all of the sensors, and I noticed that one of them was hanging off a thread, basically, like off the wire. So I had to put it back in its place. We got this car in 2017. It's a Volvo XC90. And it's been good to us for the most part, but
You know what? We put it through the ringer.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. We drove this car all the way. How many? It's already 100,000.
we have 109,000 miles on it, and we got it in 2017. And then we have our other car, our smaller car, is a Chevy Spark, 2013.
It's our Manhattan car.
Yeah. Can you believe we've had that
Yeah.
car since 2013?
Yeah, it's what?
11 years.
It's gonna be
11 years.
It's still chugging along. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, wow. And that car was cheaper than our trip to Maldives.
I know.
Knock on wood. I don't want our Sparky to die on us.
Okay, so I'm gonna pull up the spreadsheets, guys. I'm gonna talk about how much we earned in 2023 and how much we ended up with after we paid into our 401ks and after we had taxes deducted.
So is it truly problematic? Is it really putting a dent in our finances?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay, so for 2023, I personally made $115,309. Monica made $153,535. And if you guys don't remember, we talked about this previously, but I worked 16.13 hours in 2023. Monica worked 19.96 hours. So we both worked under 20 hours per week. Then, when you think about the amount of money that we put towards our 401k, typically every year before 2023, from like 2019 or the end of 2022, we were maxing out our 401ks. And in 2023, halfway through, we decided that it would be a good idea to invest more money in our business and also start concentrating on putting money away so that in case we do move back to New York soon, we would have an emergency fund for that.
So we started saving this year for New York.
At the moment, we only have about $5,000. It's going to be $8,000 because every pay period we put about $3,000 towards that fund. All right, let's go back to this. So I made $115,000. Monica made $153,000. And I contributed $11,785 towards our 401k. Monica contributed $12,225. Then, when it comes to federal taxes, I paid $14,325 towards federal. Monica paid $26,517. And the reason for that is because I have less taxes deducted from my pay because I make less than Monica, right? And if I were to have more deducted from mine, but she's making a lot more, at the end of the year, we're probably gonna owe taxes. So I'd rather have her paying the most amount of taxes and I pay the least amount. In addition to that, so we have 2 children now. Before 2021, we only had 1 child. So we ended up getting less back. And we would continue to get less back even with our business right now if we only had 1 child. But the fact that we have 2 children, we do get more money back. All right, now, when it comes to state taxes, believe it or not, of the $115,000 that I made, I only paid $3,435. And people always say, oh, you're in California, you pay heavy amount of taxes, but in the grand scheme of things, if
But clarify that from your job, from your W-2 job?
Yeah. So
The entire year?
in the entire year, right? So in the grand scheme of things, I only paid $3,435 out of the $115,000 that I made. Monica, on the other hand, of the $153,000 that she made, paid $8,151 towards the state taxes. We file jointly, so it takes that into account when we do go file our taxes. So combined, we paid about $11,400 towards state taxes, which is, in my opinion, it's not that bad. You could live in a state where you're not paying state income tax, but $11,000 at the end of the day, when you're making $268,000, is really not that much. Now, when it comes to Social Security, which is crazy. Social Security, I paid $7,149. Monica paid $9,519. So we paid more into Social Security than we did in state income taxes. Medicare, I paid $1,671. Monica paid $2,226. My net income for 2023 was $88,726. Monica's net income was $107,121. After you take all of these numbers into account, okay, we made $268,845 for the year. And mind you, this is working less than 20 hours a week. This is with me not picking up any overtime and Monica every now and then picking up an extra 4 hours.
Yeah, or like a double once in a while.
Yeah.
I barely remember. There was a whole entire month where they canceled my shift. And I didn't work the entire March of 2023.
Yeah. And you did that. Actually, there were plenty of times where you would take like 2 weeks off, 3 weeks off at a time.
I barely worked last year. I don't even know how. I honestly, just thinking about it, how did I make 153 last year? I barely was at my job.
I know. The crazy part is she made $153,000 last year, but she's gonna make more this year because her hourly rate went up.
My hourly rate last year was 123, and then this year it's at 133. Whoa, that's a big boost right there.
Yeah.
So I just have to work 1,000 hours a year to maintain my seniority. So that's about base 133,000 a year that I'll be making this year if I put in 1,000 hours for the entire 2024.
And if she does it in the same way that she did last year, she's likely gonna make like 160,000 to 165,000 this year, working less than 20 hours a week.
So the beginning of the year, I noticed that the trend at my job is that beginning of the year during flu season, the OT is very dry. Like nobody was really getting overtime at the moment. So I haven't been booked for any doubles just yet. Staffing hasn't called me. So we'll see how the year goes, because it also depends on how much travelers they're hiring or they hired. There's currently a lot of travelers at my unit right now.
Yeah.
So it's all dependent.
That's true.
But I'm not gonna rely on OT alone just so I can build up my income. I could pick up another day too if I need to.
And this year, because we are gonna plan to go to Bora Bora, then I told Monica, you can pick up after snowboarding season for sure.
Yeah.
Because we do this every year, but during snowboarding season, we don't pick up extra shifts too often. Yeah.
We can't shift the season, so this is the time where we enjoy just, going up in the mountains. The best time for me, which I prefer doing OT in the summertime, especially when my daughter's off school and I don't have to worry about picking her up and dropping her off in school, So that's the best time for me. I like to hibernate in the summertime.
And thankfully, though, our daughter is going to get her license hopefully sometime soon. So that should allow us to do some things that we wouldn't have been able to before because we'd have to pick her up from
Like
school or
film
drop her
more,
off.
make more content. Because
Yeah.
I really used to break up a routine when we film, when we're like, or Jason when he's editing, and I have to go to work.
Right now it's 1 p.m., right? And at around 2:26 or so, like 2:30, we'd have to pick her up from school. So like if we're heading somewhere right now because we want to film,
We'd have to cut this short.
we'd cut it short because we'd have to go pick her up. And in the mornings, Wednesdays and Fridays, where I dedicate just to like these podcast interviews. So today's Wednesday. And in the morning, I had an interview with a guest who's going to be on a show probably around the time you see this video already. But her name is Ebony Thyme, and she's a traveling nurse practitioner. And she does locums tenens, so she does like PRN shifts as a nurse practitioner all around the country. And she told me that she got this one gig where they paid for her flight to go to the hospital or the location where she was going to work for 1 day. Then they flew her back. They also got her a rental car. They paid for her stay.
This reminds me of the time during like deep COVID times. I guess we really needed a lot of support. We opened up 2 units just to accommodate all the patients that were coming in. We had a PRN NP working with us overnight.
Really?
Yep. And she just came in and just left. And then I think she only came for like a week. She was like a traveling NP. That's pretty cool.
You know, she did mention though that she worked for Kaiser for a short period of time. It was like a 6-week contract, and this was during COVID. But she hated it because of the micromanagement in the
Did she work
facility
at my
that she was
job?
in. No,
I'm
no,
kidding,
she
I'm
didn't work
kidding.
at
Not
yours
at
though.
my job is like that.
That's what I said. Like
Yeah.
I said, our department and the Sacramento hospitals are not really, well, depending on which department you work in, because some departments will micromanage, but most of them, relatively speaking, they don't micromanage you, which is great. Like that's why most of us love it here.
There's no way I would stay at my job if micromanaging was a problem.
Yeah. Okay. What else are we gonna talk about?
Oh, so I want you to discuss like, okay, so people were talking about how much taxes we were paying.
Yeah.
I want to mention in 2020 how much debt we paid off in just 1 year.
Yeah.
Because can you fathom how much we paid off? $128,000. There is no way we could do that in New York.
Yeah.
In
1 year.
all honesty, in 1 year without burning ourselves out to the max. You
And
know
this
what I
was
mean?
this was actually a little bit under less than 1 year, and we paid $128,000.
Oh yeah, because they even again the beginning of 2020 they were canceling all the shifts. They closed down my unit.
Yeah.
Okay, because I thought I wasn't gonna get any shifts whatsoever. So keep that in mind.
And when I say $128,000 of debt, okay, it's not all just credit card and a
This is
car
student
loan.
loans.
It's not just all student loan. There's more. Because in that debt I did include the mortgage payments because that is debt, right? So I had to include how much we paid in interest and monthly payments towards our mortgage. So that was included in the $128,000. So it was the car. We had an auto loan for this car right here, which was like $72,000.
This car was expensive.
Yeah, it was a $72,000 car.
For what we paid in 2017, you know.
So $72,000 car loan. Then we had a $70,000 loan on our house. We borrowed money for the deposit. We had to have $70,000 in order to get the mortgage approved on our house. And again, I've said this so many times. I don't even know how they managed to approve a loan or a mortgage knowing that we had a $70,000 loan.
I guess they were just like, okay, they're nurses.
Yeah. Okay, so we have those 2 loans. We also had our student loans. At the time, I think we only owed like an additional $10,000 to $15,000 in student loan debt. But by that time, it wasn't $70,000. It was like maybe $40,000 for the car and $38,000 for the loan, the $70,000 loan that we got for our house. But yeah, we were able to pay off all of that in addition to being...
in just 1 year.
Yeah. And even after we paid all of that, we were maxing out our 401ks. We were only working maybe like 30 to 32 hours per week at the time. Because
So if you average it out, because I barely worked at the beginning of the year, because I did go hardcore like towards the end of the year, But if you just average it out towards the year, I think I was working what?
It's about 30 hours a week. I was working something like 27 hours a week. So if you average both of ours together, it's like 28.5 hours per week average between both of us. So again, like you can't work 28, 30 hours a week in another state as a couple and be able to pay off $128,000 in 1 year while also maxing out your 401k and still having money left over at the end of your paycheck for all of your other bills. That's extremely difficult to do unless you're in tech. If you're in tech, it's possible. But even as a tech employee, you're probably going to be working a 9 to 5, or at least you have 9 to 5 hours. You might be working, you will be working less, but you'll have 9 to 5 hours. We didn't have 9 to 5 hours. Our hours were literally the number of hours we worked, and that's it. We were done. We didn't have to bring any work with us when we went home.
So I just want to talk about how that was a pretty impressive year for us. So in 2021, we had our son. So I feel like, the 2021 wasn't that as impressive as 2020 and 2022. So we can talk about what we did in 2022. We finally started catching up on our travels and talk about how much we spent on traveling and how much we spent maxing out, how much we maxed out our 401ks and then how much we invested in our business.
Okay. So in 2022, I believe this was the year where we saved or we put away $80,000 towards our 401k and our taxable brokerage account. And in addition to that, we also spent, I think it was like $68,000.
It's got to be around
somewhere around $68,000 to $70,000 just traveling.
Just traveling. So if the taxes were so problematic, there ain't no way we could do that.
Yeah. Which is why we need to make this video.
Yeah.
And I talked about this beautiful comment that we got from one of our subscribers. And she mentioned how she's 50 years old. And because of our videos, she was able to move to the Bay Area. And now she's got a job at a hospital where she's able to max out her 401k. And not only max out, she's contributing more than the max for a normal person because she's at age 50, so she can contribute more. She's contributing $30,000 towards her 401k, and she's contributing another $30,000 to her 457b. And in addition to that, she's paying off all of her debt, and she's doing great.
So that year in 2022, we spent about 68 grand on traveling.
It was somewhere around 68,000.
Then we maxed out our 401ks. How much was that?
The 401ks plus our taxable brokerage account, that was about 80,000. So
and then on top of that, we invested in our business, remember? Still had extra
we contributed like $13,000 towards the business. And we weren't even earning much money from our business at the time. That year, we only earned, I think it was like $11,000. But in 2023, we earned somewhere around $35,000 to $36,000. And I have those numbers here too.
So that's why we slowed down on working OT and working a lot, picking up a lot of shifts because we wanted to put more time in our business.
Yeah, so in 2022, we made, I think it was like $301,000, $302,000. But in 2023, we were working less than 20 hours a week, and we were dedicating more of our time towards the business. Selling these spreadsheets, fixing up the website, making more videos so that we can earn YouTube ad revenue, getting sponsorships, making money from affiliate links, and all these other sources of revenue from our website. But
slightly off topic, I know this is not tax related. Not a lot of nurses can say this, but I like being a bedside nurse. Justin is gonna so disagree. Like if I don't have to do it so often, if I could just work once a week, that's absolutely okay with me. I like being a bedside nurse, but I don't get burnt out.
You say that because you can go to work and you kick your legs up and relax.
It's night shift, okay? This is only night shift, it's pretty intense. Day shift and PM shift, it's so intense. Like I don't know how those nurses,
somebody just ran a red light.
I better behave and watch the road. But anyways, I just in my heart, I just wish I could work when we do go back to New York and we're so close to retirement. I wish I could still work as a bedside nurse in New York, but I know damn well I can't. There's no way. I would just be so miserable, just to have that skill set too. Yeah. I feel like if I do retire, I feel like I've been a nurse for so long, I just lose my identity. I don't know.
Yeah, and if we ever move back to New York, which is still the plan, but again, here's the thing, I keep talking about it because this has to come up. Things evolve over time, right? So, and that can include your decision, your choices, the choices that you make. But what I'm trying to say is the migrant issue is becoming bigger and bigger and bigger in New York City. The other day, there were 4 or 5 migrants who attacked a police officer. And after they were arrested, they were let free. And if that sends a message to other criminal migrants who want to come to New York City and commit crimes like that, knowing that they're going to get away with it, and that becomes an entire epidemic in and of itself, then if it gets to the point where it's too much crime out there,
Just like how it is
I don't know
in
if I want to
Oakland,
move
like,
back there.
You know, like we don't want to move in
Yeah.
the Bay Area because of all the bipping
Yeah.
and all the property
Yeah.
theft.
Yeah. But in the same breath, I should also say that what we hear in the news, it's
Yeah,
so different than what
'cause
you
we're all
might
the way
witness
over
in person.
here.
When I see something like that, I can't verify that it's chaotic unless I'm there, right? So when
Yeah.
we went there in
'Cause we were
November of
there-
2023, that's what we were expecting to see everywhere on the streets of New York City. But it's not like
Yeah.
that when you see it in person. So we're gonna have to continue traveling to New York to kind of gauge what it's like. Because we're not gonna want our son to go somewhere where it's unsafe. Even if that means we're living in a pricier area to get to a good school system, if even in that pricier area you have a lot of crime and we're fearful of his safety, then we'd have to like reevaluate whether we're gonna move there or not. But we actually considered Paramus, which is in New
Yeah.
Jersey.
I love Jersey. So my family, we're truly not from New York City. Most of my family are from Jersey, Bergen County, actually.
Yeah, but the taxes are
It's in-
extremely
yeah.
high.
Are you talking
in-
about income tax or property tax or both?
everything.
Oh, okay.
It's one of the highest taxed states. And this is in regards to income taxes, state taxes, property taxes, you know, and then in addition to that, you have federal taxes. So I don't know if New Jersey would be a good idea, but here we are. We're at Jamba right now.
You go and get wet.
This is all new to us, by the way, this vlogging stuff. We never used to do this before 2023. So because there was such a positive reaction to us vlogging in our car and talking about why we plan to move back to New York, we're gonna be doing a lot of these videos more often now. So we paid 27% in taxes. That includes federal tax, state income tax, Social Security, and Medicare. But 8.9% of our income went towards our 401k. So in total, that was about 35% or 36% that went towards everything, including our 401ks. It's not 50% of our income going towards our taxes and our 401ks. It's not what you hear on the news. It's not like that at all. And for 27% of it to be going towards all of our actual taxes, it's not a lot of money if you consider how much you're earning in gross. And because we earn $269,000, $268,000, then 27% of that, we still are left with a good amount of money at the end of the month. All right, so Monica's at Ulta right now, and we're gonna cut it here. If you guys want more videos like this, just let me know, and we'll keep making them.